Are we back?
I'll quickly close my door. Someone's screaming. I'm loading Twitch, but it's still a black screen. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Okay. We also need to share the new link with people.
It's still the same links.
Oh, is it?
Should be. Wait, if I click on the YouTube link.
Oh,
no.
One day, Jay. One day.
Okay, yeah, it started a new.
Yep.
God.
Do you want to post the new links?
I need to create a new video first for YouTube.
Wait, should I stop streaming here?
Yeah,
okay.
We're not streaming anywhere.
Yeah, no, I see us on YouTube right now.
Yes?
But you have to go to the channel. Look, here you go.
Twitch still isn't working for some reason.
Discord. There you go.
My computer's so. YouTube link.
I'll send it on the Discord.
Oh, you pest. It just creates a new.
Okay. Right, it's working. Okay. Well,
okay.
I guess we just we do what we can. Sorry about this. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's happening because the streaming part shouldn't be an issue. We'll have to run some more tests. At least we're live on YouTube, which is well, half the work. So yeah, once again, welcome everyone. And I guess we've already spent 8 minutes with technical difficulties. So shall we dive right in?
Yep, sounds good.
So the first question I'm going to ask Jay is about content packs, and it was asked by Jacob, who was wondering if we were going to do any official content, as in official Wizards of the Coast or other content, or will it only be community-created content? And Jay, I'll let you run away with this one.
Yeah. So we don't have plans for any official content with publishers. But if companies were to approach us in some way, we'd be excited to see what can be done. I know 6 months ago or something, a small publishing company asked us for sharing some of their content. And at the time, there's just no way to do that. And I did mention content packs to them, and they seemed excited. So hopefully we can get in touch with them or other publishing companies to see what can be done to just make the new content packs we're releasing this month more exciting.
Cool.
And there'll be more. I'll do a deep dive in a showcase of the new content packs at the end of the stream.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, as Jay said, there's a big issue with copyrights, so there's not much we can do unless they volunteer their own content, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's the first question. And the second question, after which we're pretty much done, and we're going straight to showcasing lots of fun new features, concerns what our goals are when it comes to subscriptions, and what are our current and future marketing plans when it comes to helping and enabling growth. And basically, like, sky's the limit, I think is where we're at. Realistically, I think both Jay and I are quite keen on being able to pay ourselves minimum wage, just to begin with. And then I think Jay's also quite keen on potentially hiring another dev to help him develop Kanka and just like snowball it a bit more. So I think there's not really an upper limit. I don't know exactly how many summers we're at right now, but we're somewhere in the 600-700 range, I think, something like that. If we're counting just with our Stripe. You seem surprised by that, Jay.
I thought we were close at 500, but yeah, I haven't looked at the numbers in a long time.
No, I think we're a bit higher than that. There are also two. I mean, there are two categories there. We've got our sort of our Stripe customers, and then we've got these still the legacy Patreon. And legacy Patreon still has a couple hundred, but without counting that, I'm fairly sure we're above 600 on Stripe. Anyway, so yeah, there's no real upper limit. I don't think we at some point will say like, okay, we don't want anyone new, you know. I think we just kind of keep going, see where it takes us, and get to a point where, yeah, hopefully we can grow Kanka a bit further, hire someone, keep pumping out the features, and everyone's happy. I think is the way to say it. As for marketing specifically, so as you know, or perhaps don't know yet, but that's my domain, and marketing's going well. We allocate a decent amount of our revenues to marketing, and I'd say it's probably it is the biggest expense other than our salaries. It's actually, I think we spend about as much on marketing as we do on like each and everyone, like either of us. And I do bug Jay regularly to try and increase the marketing budget. I think personally it's quite like a reliable source of user growth, and so for me it just makes sense that we keep increasing that slowly as you know, like our revenues go up. I like to keep it as a percentage of our revenue basically, and our ads in total led to about 1,800 sign up, or like sign ups being people who actually registered. I don't know then if they used it much or not, but about 1,800 out of a total of about 5,000 new sign ups. So marketing is responsible for, you know, sort of 35 to 40%, and a large share of the rest is the community. There are of course people who hear about us on various social media, and that represents a decent share as well. I know we're fairly popular on Facebook. There's always that one Reddit post that everyone knows about and everyone refers to. But yeah, I'd say about over a third, maybe just under 40% of our users are generated through advertising, and we plan to keep that going. I think we'll probably stick to about a third if things keep going the way they are. Basically, the community grows, you know, and recommends more people, marketing budget grows, and that. So it's kind of organic, I guess, in that way. And yeah, it's always nice also when we see that some of our users, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Reddit, whether it's on Facebook, or even on YouTube, you know, sort of mention Kanka to what we would call perhaps influencers or just, you know, bigger fish. The other day I saw one of our users tweet about Kanka to someone who had, to me, what seems crazy, about 200,000 followers. I know in the grand scale of things, you have a lot of people that have a lot more, but for me, still, just that someone with 200,000 followers would even, you know, be confronted with the fact that Kanka exists was quite cool to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's always nice to see where the community takes us and how the community probably has a bit more courage than we do when it comes to promoting Kanka in that way. So yeah, I guess that's when it comes to what our plans are. I guess, as I say, just keep going. As long as you guys are happy and we're happy, there's no reason to stop. And thank you very much, Joshua. It's very much appreciated. Like we do this for ourselves in the sense that we're also geeks, we're also gamers. We do this for you guys because you seem to appreciate what we do. So we're happy that what we like doing makes you guys happy. I think that's the best way of phrasing it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if Jay, you've got anything to add about that specifically.
No, but we'll get 2 questions in the Discord, which
Oh.
for those who aren't part of Discord should join because it's a great place. From Jacob asking, do you have a higher plan or goal when to expand, add new dev? I think that goes back to what Jon says. Once we pay ourselves minimum wage, we can start seeing, start having money to allocate to someone else. We don't want to. We want it to be fair and pay people what they're worth.
Yeah.
So asking people to work for free wouldn't be wouldn't be great. Not. Also, just for consistency.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Both you and I are happy to pay ourselves less than we deserve because this is a passion for us. This is something that we want, and this is something that we go forward with. But I join Jay in saying that we need to be in a position where whoever we're hiring, we can pay them adequately. It would be unfair. It would be wholly unfair. I think I've been in situations where I've been underpaid in past jobs. I'm sure Jay's been in situations, and you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person who takes advantage of someone who needs a job, and just pay them badly just because you can. So I think, yeah, I'm gonna wholly join Jay on this one. I don't know that we have a set plan, but when we can afford it, and I think from some of the conversations we've had preliminarily, it would be initially someone part-time, or like on a per project basis, like a freelancer on a per project basis. I think. I don't know if you. Yeah, sorry, I was kind of waiting for Jay to agree or disagree.
No, I want someone tomorrow,
well,
full time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can I pay him with your salary?
I don't think that'd be enough.
True. True.
So no concrete goals at the moment, but we're looking into options. What would make sense? Also, finding someone who's also in the RPG sphere, the world building sphere, to also understand the product. Because you can find cheap freelancers from around the world, but for a project like Kanka, where it's less, this is the exact feature that we want, but more of, we should build this as a first iteration and then improve on it based on user feedback. What makes sense for a world builder, what makes sense for if you're playing an RPG, someone with a sense for what would make sense, and not just because a lot of the feature requests we get are like, I'd like this feature, and it's a bit my job to kind of guess what's required or what's wanted, and sometimes what ends up being implemented is what was asked, and sometimes it goes through many iterations. So yeah.
So I guess we'll see. Sorry, just picking up on a couple of questions because now we're getting a few questions, and I'm conscious that we don't want to spend too much time just staring at each other in the mirror. So I'm going to do a bit of a lightning round here, and Jay, feel free to hop in at any point in time when you feel like you need to, because I feel like we've answered the future help question. Beef Potato, what portion of your revenue is from ads compared to subs? A small portion of our revenue is from ads. I would say, I mean, we're talking single-digit percentages. Maybe about 5% comes from ads. Ads have been growing. You seem perplexed, Jay. 5% is a very
yeah.
It depends on the month. The revenue from ads has increased over the last few months, and it's hard to say, but not much more than 5% right now. And then as for Jacob's a follow-up question. Would there be a subscriber number associated with the possibility to pay minimum wage? Well, that depends also on where we live, right? Because Kanka is based in Switzerland, in Geneva specifically, where minimum wage is 4,000 francs, which is about $4,000 or about 3,500 euros a month. So realistically, I don't think when we say paying ourselves minimum wage, we mean that, because that's
No.
realistically it's more than we're going to be making anytime soon. And so I think if we hit about 1,000 to 1,200 subscribers on Stripe, that's when we'll be at the sort of minimum wage level that Jay and I have in mind, I think.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, we've talked about this privately, and yeah, the 1,000 to 1,200 subs should allow us to pay us the amount we have in mind.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much what we're aiming for as a minimum. After which we'll start thinking about properly expanding, or expanding is perhaps a strong word, but we'll start thinking about hiring someone full-time or part-time, but hiring someone as opposed to freelance projects, if we sort of backtrack to that earlier questions. So yeah, as for how many banks we would need to rob, Beef Potato, I think just the one would do, honestly.
Yeah.
You get a good haul
couple
for a
million
bank.
and we're set, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe some crowdfunding. Joshua, yes, I can see your question, and we will get to that right now. Well, I'll let Jay get to it right now because he would know more than I would. And thank you for joining us tonight. So, Jay, I don't know if you saw the question, but it's expanding on the Reddit that you replied to.
Whimsical Nights.
I'll let you take it.
Could you expand a little? So, Whimsical Night asked on Reddit about custom filters based on attributes, and redesigning some of the UI to control the fields which are shown. And the question is, could you expand a little if you have any more information regarding future adjustments to controlling columns that show in the various entity UI lists? You had mentioned that you plan on redesigning lists in the future, and while it's not currently planned in your Kanban board, is it something you plan on doing, or at least that's how I interpreted it? Can you speak a little on that a little, if you're willing? Yeah. So when I started Kanka over 3 years ago as a hobby project, I built it in a week with a template, a UI template that I used at work, and didn't plan on more than 10 people ever using Kanka. And now we have over 75,000 accounts, and we are struggling with some of the design decisions I made then, and also the way it's built. And this is where redesigning, I'm not a designer, Jon's not a designer, we have no idea how to make things look good and pretty. So we always looking on how to bring in people from the community and help us improve the interface. And so typically the lists are something which can have a lot of information, and a lot of information is not pertinent at all times. So we're more looking to have statistics on what fields are people actually, a way to know what are people looking at in these lists, to then be able to see with a designer redesigning them to be more compact or have more of the information which is important, and then offering an option to allow the user to show specific columns or values of an entity. And yeah, if I see this as the tables list is something I don't like the way they are. I'd rather have a more of exploration mode, where it's more blocks, like you have 2 blocks per row with the image, with the text, the name, tags, and go way more from tables and more into visually more how do you explore the world you've built. But probably end up with both at some time. But it will all depend on when we can hire someone who helps us with doing those, or when someone in the community comes up and works with us to redo first the interfaces and then figure out what we can offer the users. Yeah.
Cool. I hope that answers your question, Joshua. If not, feel free to just add a subsequent question or let Jay know that he failed miserably. I'm missing. But yeah, cool. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, I see that Whimsical Knight is typing as in Joshua. But other than that, I'm actually just going to preemptively switch us on to the showcase view while we wait for follow-up questions. And then if there is a question, we'll answer it quickly and then we'll move on to the showcase. If not, we'll just power through with the showcase. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Ready for the change of view? Let's do it. Boom. I always feel like
first
the first view. Sorry, completely unrelated to anything, but I always feel like the first view with our faces like huge. It's always a bit like in my face. But I like this view better. Also, the emphasis is on Jay's work. Cool.
Oh, no.
All right. Go for it, and if questions are asked, we'll answer them when we have a second. But feel free to type. Feel free. We're listening. We're here. But Jay will start showing us some of the goodies he's been working on.
Yeah. So first, I wanted to do a small deep dive on a new feature of release 1.7, which came out 3 days ago, related to dashboards, which was the focus of this month's community vote, where subscribers got to vote on which area of the app we should focus on. And the biggest feature we've added is being able to add filters to the recently modified list. And I just wanted to showcase that because it's a feature. I tried documenting it. I think that's the word. But a video explanation would probably be better, so we can reference people to this part of the Q&A in the future. So the idea is that recently modified, I can now have an option when I select, for example, characters. I have a filter box which shows, and I can type in here filters as they would be used in the characters list. So if I first go to characters and I filter on location, no, I won't have a good example. Let's go human race. And let's do is dead. So I want a list of entities with dead humans on my dashboard. I filter, and now up. Oh, I don't know. Did you hide my URL bar from the stream, John?
Okay.
I'm
sorry, I muted myself, but no, I didn't. People could see me talk, but they couldn't hear me talk. Because I have a weird issue with my headset where it just like streams audio I'm hearing, so when I'm not speaking, I mute myself. Anyway, you go, Jay.
Yeah. So in the URL, I see after the question mark is all the filters, and it's a long list. And I can copy paste this value in recently modified. Let's start again. Characters. I can paste it, and this is a bit verbose and a bit much, but these are all the possible filters for characters, and I can kind of see here race ID equals 162. So I can then go and clean up, remove anything behind it. These values are all things which aren't interesting to me, and I have is dead. What's important, I can clean up again what's afterwards, is you have the field equals the value, and field equals value. And that's the syntax. And I can go dead characters as a custom widget name. We'll make it half width. Save. So now when I go to my dashboard, I see dead in my campaign, dead humans. I named it dead characters, but I meant dead humans. And that's how you can now better control what is being shown on your dashboard. So it could be, for example, instead of going dead characters, you could go show me all the characters of a location. For example, if you're session prepping for a city or a town, and you want a dashboard to quickly have all the characters of a location, you can do that. And yeah, that's what I wanted to show. I think that's all which was really interesting in the widget. And Jacob is asking, was there no simple way to include those filters but the URL filter? Maybe, but it would have been a lot of work. That's something where always, how much time can I invest for this feature? What makes sense? I hope in the future to have a better, beef potato, yeah, exactly. Could there be a copy filter button? Absolutely. This is what I have in mind for in the future. On the list of characters, if I have a filter, set filters, let's here button, copy filters to your clipboard to then paste it. That would be the next step. Yeah, I hope to do that for this month for 1.8, but no promises. That's it for the deep dive for one of those new features of 1.7. Next up, where's my showcase? So the second option of this month's community vote was content packs, which was something we've been wanting to do for a while. For those who don't know, we have a marketplace, marketplace.kanka.io, which allows for boosted campaigns to import themes, attribute templates, and now what I'm working on, content packs into their campaigns. And content packs is a way for creators to create a list of NPCs, locations, organizations, kind of build a boilerplate of content for a campaign that can then be imported. And I've been working on this most of the month. And if I go to the correct tab, yes. So when you are creating a plugin, you can now create a new content pack plugin. Well, this is what I'm working on. This isn't live. This is a preview of what will come with 1.8. So let's name my plugin name 5, well, let's not be so ambitious, 3 amazing NPCs. So I'll create my first version with 1.0, 3 detailed NPCs with stuff. And now I can go and create entities for this content pack. So let me create a character, Alfred. Alfred is someone that is amazing. I can add an image. Quickly go pictures, NPCs. Sure. I can add a family, location, race. These are all based on the content pack. I can type noble, title, the king, slayer, I don't know, whatever. I can add appearance and traits if I want. Hair, yes. Goals, kill baddies. Save this character. Give it a moment. And let's create a family. Kanka family, simply. I've selected new character. I can create a new family. Kanka family. This is a family. I think I'm spelling family wrong many times. Fields type. It's a amazing family. I can go and edit Alfred to put him now in the Kanka family because he deserved it. Create another character. It's called Annabelle. Annabelle is also amazing. Choose a picture. Type, I don't know, hero. Save. And now I can go and start building up connections. So Alfred, yes, at the moment 0 connections. So I can say, let's create Alfred, give Alfred a new connection to Annabelle. And they are childhood friends. There's no option at the moment to do mirrored relations because of the way content packs are built. It doesn't use the same underlying structure as the application. But I can then go into Annabelle and add a relation for her to Alfred, childhood friends, attitude. Let's say it's just leave it empty. And you can start to build up some connections between stuff. I can also add a organization, the good guys, all the good people, blah, 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 just save. And I can go back into Alfred and add a organization member. And the good guys, here's a member, etc., etc. Now, I haven't created 3 detailed NPCs with stuff, but enough. So let's submit for review. Then quickly moderate it. See NPCs. I don't even need to approve it. I can install it into one of my campaigns. So now when I go back to my campaign, the plugin has been installed, the content pack, but not yet synchronized, because you can update your content packs if you've added more NPCs, more locations, more lore, added an extra image to a character, etc. So I will go into my campaigns plugins. And for 3 amazing NPCs, I have an import button. I think this should work. So it's imported 4 entities from the plugin 3 amazing NPCs. If I go back to my dashboard, I now see it's imported Alfred and Annabelle. The image didn't import because of the way my local machine is set up, but that will work when it's live. And I can go on Alfred. I can see there's the family, organizations. I can see here he's part of the good guys. And relations, I see he has a relation to Annabelle. And that's the idea of how content packs will work.
Nice.
Still building out several features. You might have seen, if I duplicate 1.1, updated NPCs. At the moment, the type of entities that can be added are characters, location, family, organizations, race, journal, item, event, and note. Still working on quest, because that would be a cool one to add. Calendars won't make it to content packs because I'd have to rebuild the calendar feature in the marketplace, which is a nightmare I want to avoid.
Oh wait, Jay.
Yeah.
We're frozen.
We're frozen?
Yeah, on YouTube we're frozen. Oh.
Well, people are answering questions related to what I just said. Video frozen, audio is fine. Oh.
Yeah, audio's fine.
Do we just want to continue and hope it gets better, or restart the stream again? Is it the whole screen which is audio? Video frozen, audio is fine. Yeah, it's probably not just my screen, it's probably the screen and webcams.
Yeah.
Pretend you're a podcast, yeah.
Pretend we're a podcast, yeah.
Well, that makes my showcasing of new features a bit
Hold on, let me try and quickly do something.
difficult.
Boom. Nope.
Yeah.
Even if I change that, it doesn't. it just doesn't like it. What is going on? Oh wait, I'm back.
Go back.
Are you back? No, you're still. Oh, but
My...
your stream's. Wait, yeah, your stream's working again. Just your face isn't.
Jon is live. My face isn't. Is my computer melting again?
No, your computer, like your stream's working, but your face isn't.
In the Discord. Okay, in the Discord, that's weird, because in the Discord thing, I can see myself moving.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We can still see what you're doing. You just look like you're you're meditating quite intensely.
Yeah, Whimsical Knight, which thank you for subscribing, said Jay is just deep in thought. Jay's face isn't playing.
Jay's face isn't working since it's set up.
So my screen share is working again?
Yes. Wait. Yes, it is.
It's now showing the marketplace landing page.
Probably there's a bit of a delay. Yes, it is. We're good.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good enough for me. I'll quickly answer some questions which are related, because that's it for the showcase of that part. Jacob asking, will there be an upload function for the content marketplace or copy from campaign? Probably not for the time being, because that's the marketplace code is completely separated from the app. And so I'm rebuilding features in the marketplace and then building an importer. So kind of limiting the amount of options which are available. So keep it simpler and not rebuild Kanka in the marketplace. Beef Potato also asks, can you do mentions? Yes, I didn't showcase this, but if I go and edit Alfred, he's friends with Annabelle. I can go and put this information in here, and it's a mention. I will update. I will go back to my campaign. It's the wrong page. To reopen my campaign, I can do a demonstration of what the update process looks like. Let's go back into my campaigns, my plugins, sorry. There's an update available for free amazing NPCs. So, okay, update plugin. Let me import. And now when I go back on Alfred, there's this mention to Annabelle, which was, yeah, obviously an important feature to have for content packs. Mentions are a core feature, Kanka, and having them available for content packs just makes sense. Jacob asked, if a content entity is added for a campaign, then change over the campaign and there's an update in the content pack, which takes priority? So usually the stuff from the content pack takes priority. One case is images. If you've uploaded an image to the entity, it won't override it. Because there's probably a reason why you did that. But for descriptions, for the entry field, for the relations, it will recreate as is from the content pack. It won't delete. If you've added a relation, for example, if Alfred has a relation to an entity in your campaign, and you resync, it won't delete that custom relation. But if you've deleted the relation to Annabelle, it will re-add it or update it if the text changed. Valdu asks, can you just deactivate content you don't want? So deleting Alfred, for example, without deleting the other two things. Yeah, you can still delete entities. They're not read-only. So if it imported, for example, a location you don't want to use, you can just delete that. Just when you resync, it will re-add it. I just realized with deletes, I still need to do some testing on that. But if you delete something, it will just delete it. That's fine. Beef Potato, what happens if the name of a content entity conflicts with the name of the existing entity? Entity names aren't unique in Kanka, so you can have 5 characters named Annabelle. That's no problem. Then going down through chats. John, if there are any questions on the YouTube, I'm relying on you because I have that page closed now.
Fine. There's nothing on YouTube for now.
How do we make that into a sticker emoji? Nope, no thank you.
It's already
so
on
content
general
has been created on the marketplace. Yeah. Honestly, having a screen where you could just see campaign sorted by entity type seems like it would be quite useful for normal use, like a focused edit mode. I'm not sure I understand Beef Potato's request or question. Whimsical Knight, so expanding on this question, do you have any need for additional volunteer assistance, QA testers, etc.? I work in software development myself and I'd help in whatever capacity for your product service if you would need any additional volunteers or assistance. QA test team is currently full. If you speak a language which isn't in Kanka and want to help translate Kanka into that language, we're always open to those kind of volunteers. That's about it at the moment. If you have experience in PHP development and want to volunteer helping out on some small tickets, so it's open to that idea. And yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Now, John.
Yes, I'm here.
How much can we say about what we've been working with Rick?
We can say a few things.
Okay.
Let's just not oversell this because, well,
Yeah.
as exciting as it is for both you and I, it's not something that's going to happen tomorrow. But yeah, let's showcase a bit. I think we can afford to just at least give a few hints of what we're doing and just yeah. Let's talk about it a tiny bit. So
I skipped a question. Sorry. Didn't scroll enough. This is a more tangible question, and I certainly don't expect you to answer if you're uncomfortable doing so, but my curiosity drives me to ask. What sort of database solution do you leverage behind the app? Is it MongoDB or similar? So Kanka is fully open source, the app part, and we use MariaDB, so MySQL. It's MySQL, PHP, Redis for cache, Redis for queues. That's about it. Yeah.
Cool.
But the whole code is open source on GitHub. So if you're curious, you can go and have a look.
Just don't.
Now back to
So quickly, we've been. I mean, some of you might be aware of the whole travails we've had when it comes to redeveloping our UI, with designers appearing and disappearing and reappearing. But there are always two aspects to the way the user interacts with the website, which are UI, which is something that we've tried and failed and we're trying again, whatever. And then there's UX. And UX, we recently had one of our users come up to us and volunteer some of his time to help us improve the experience. So it's got absolutely nothing to do with the graphics of Kanka or how Kanka looks, but it will have to do with your interactions, where buttons are, why they're there, what information is available to a user, what information can be made available, and just sort of streamlining and simplifying the process. So with that in mind, I will let Jay talk about it and perhaps show us a few things of some of the ideas, some of the directions that we're headed in with this of UX changes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So the areas we're currently focusing on is when you're viewing an entity. Because a big problem we have is when you're new to Kanka, you open a character that you've just created. There's potentially 20 submenus for journals, for quests, for organizations. There's buttons all over the top to copy advanced mentions, which makes no sense to new users. There's the small lock button to make an entity private, which is a dynamic button, one of the few dynamic buttons in Kanka, which also doesn't really make much sense to new users. And it's just a mess with lots of information. And then on the main view, I'll probably showcase this instead of talking about it. Let me quickly go to I need someone with lots of relations. Let me just think of a moment. For an example, yeah, I think this guy has some. Oh, this is a bad example. But anyway, you have the entry, which is here, which is repeated here. You have reminders, which connects to calendars. You have entity notes, attributes. Up here, we have copy. This is just too much information for a new user. And as this entity gets added to a map, added to a journal, etc., it just adds more submenu elements here. So we've been talking about how to improve this and to restructure some of these some of this information. And some of the findings or ideas we've had is, let me, should I show it or explain it? So firstly, entity notes.
I think it's always better to show things.
Yeah. So one thing which was recently added is entity notes can be pinned. When you edit an entity note, you can make it pinned, which will then display it on the view. So if I'm viewing this entity, I now have my entity notes here. And I realized since this feature has been released, a large majority of entity notes are now pinned. So one of the changes we're thinking is removing this tab and just always having entity notes displayed here with some graphical changes, but just getting rid of one extra tab and just having it easier for users to understand. You can add more blocks of text. And an easier way to reorganize instead of going through this pinned position field, which is a nightmare to work with, just a drag and drop interface. And for all these kind of elements, the submenus, rethink them, push them back higher up, split them into logical sections. All these related values which show up here, redesign them. And so currently focusing on characters, the idea, this is not final, by the way, it's just some stuff we're working on, is to have the header block show the image, show you where you are with a simplified breadcrumb system, the text in bold, the tags, and the location of where a character currently is, because these are the most filled out information by far. And then have the description down here, the entity notes, and yeah, yes, it is sexy. And this is just placing the buttons. This isn't. This is just rethinking how we present this information. And so the idea is you would have the entity notes here and a quick button to collapse them or expand them all, a new post button which adds a new entity note and just makes it easier, and a button to quickly edit the description, because we've also seen that most entities, a large majority of when you edit an entity, you're editing the description, the entry field. So just have it quick access, just update what's important, skip the rest. And yeah, the menu, also change it around. We're still in talks about it. Some information will be here, for example, pinned relations or pinned attributes. And have for characters a new profile page, which is then the other information you fill out, which you might want from time to time, but it's not the primary information you're going to use as a dungeon master or as a player. And here would also appear in the background the reminders. So how is this character connected to a calendar, and kind of simplify some of the terms. So it's no longer a reminder, but it's a background, and you can add an entry. So you can select your calendar, write a small text, kind of have a bit more of a timeline feel to reminders. And then you'd have abilities, inventory, attributes, which stay the same. Connections, which would be your relations, they would become more prominent, because we also realized most, not most, but users use relations a lot, and we're excited about it and just want to make it more obvious for new users. Okay, you've got a character, you can add connections instead of relations. Connection seems more, yeah, it's relations, also connections to the organizations, to the families, etc. Another thing which we want to simplify is currently you can, if I go back to a character, I can add files, which is also a feature which is kind of hidden up here. It's mostly skipped. People's eyes will go in here and then jump to the right and kind of skip the middle. So you can add files to the entities. And we want to move that to, and it's hardly used. So we're going to move that probably to a new assets tab, which is both files and links. Boosted campaigns can add links to external resources. So we want them to be managed in one interface instead of split in two. And kind of make it so the link button would be available, and if you click on it and the campaign isn't boosted, you have this information. This feature is for boosted campaigns, so it isn't, again, hidden. Because, for example, now if I have to go in actions and manage links, which also isn't clear what it does. Brings me to a new interface, and it's just this option is only visible if the campaign is boosted. So if you don't know, you'll never find it. If you after it's boosted a campaign, it's just tedious to find. Just make all this information easier to find. And then the biggest change, or one of the biggest, well, I guess all of it is a huge change.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd quantify which is the biggest.
And there we're still working on some interfaces, but mentions. So instead of having a character, a submenu for organizations, map points, calendars, well, not calendars, but quests, journals, we want to condense it all into a mentions page where you'd have, where's this entity mentioned? Is it in text, in entities? Is it in a journal as the author? Is it as a quest giver, or as the character of a quest? Kind of centralize everything, so you have one overview to see how is this character connected to the world. And kind of, again, centralize to avoid a million submenus and the information quicker to find.
Once again, like as Jay said, everything that we're showing here is very much in the super early stages. We're still talking about what should be done, what can we do, how should we do it. So if you have any input on this, or you have thoughts, or not even necessarily right now, but if you think about it for a couple of days and you suddenly have an idea, don't hesitate to share, because we are really looking for feedback on this. This is, at this point, is very much just sort of in our minds. There's nothing concrete here. Even the page that Jay is working with is essentially a bunch of screenshots stuck together.
Yeah.
So,
and we'll also try and do formulaire surveys in the Discord to try and gather information, because a lot is based on user experience, a lot is based on user stats, because we are starting to have I started building in some little bits of stats to see what people are clicking. And also, yeah, we want to make sure it also is advantageous for the community, these changes that we're thinking of doing. So, yeah.
We'll get to calendars eventually, Beef Potato. I know Jay's got a bit of a stage fright when it comes to calendars, but it will make it eventually. But yeah, that's as Jay said, that's the other big thing we're kind of looking at and working on right now. I don't think either you or I would be comfortable giving a date for implementation.
No, because this is all. It also won't be all done in one day, or it won't
Of
be one
course.
release. It will be progressively doing these changes to characters first, and then to the event entities. And that this is just a view. We're also working on the forms,
Yeah.
on how to improve the forms, and that's a whole other nightmare of making forms simpler, less convoluted, clearer.
Yeah.
It's probably a 6 months process until all these ideas are released.
Yeah, of course. I think, I mean, it always takes time to do things. We will, we will probably implement changes. Like the first changes will probably come in the next, I want to say month and a half, maybe
Mm.
the first
Yeah,
changes. But then expect this to
yeah,
drag on very much until the end of the summer, autumn kind of thing.
yeah. I think the first easy change for us will be to entity nodes, to just remove that concept from a separate tab and always have them pinned in the interface to drag and drop them. Because that seems how users are using entity nodes now, that they can be pinned. They're just pinning them.
So first of all, thank you, Waldo. It always means a lot when you guys appreciate what we do, because I mean we do it for you guys and also for ourselves because we actually enjoy what we do. It's the first time in my life where I've completely and fully enjoyed my job. So it's always nice to hear that what I like doing, you guys appreciate. So it means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to Jay as well. Um,
Yeah.
so thank you. And as for your question, Jacob, I'm sure we can find a way to send you a couple screens.
Yeah, once we're more happy with, once we
Yeah,
have more concrete uh, screens to share,
yeah,
where we're more into the nitty gritty of details, like because this is still a lot of global, more of an overview of the directions we want to go. And as soon as we have more focused idea, then yeah,
yeah.
we'll share them in the Discord and do surveys and stuff.
I think that's a good point. Like once again, we cannot overstate how preliminary everything that we've just shown you is. It's really not something that's even close to implementation. So yeah, I think Jay's made a good point. When we have something a bit more concrete, and when it's taking shape a bit more, then we'll share a lot more information, and it'll be more open to feedback. Right now, I mean, you've seen, as you may have seen, Jay can't even click on on all the links. Only a few of these things work. It's very much like it's still a thought process right now. And so once we have something a bit more concrete, then we'll open it up more to dialogue. For now, if anything that you've seen is absolutely awful or absolutely amazing, I think that's about as far as we're able to receive feedback on this for now. Yeah, I think. Who need to adapt their themes? Sabatos, honestly, you know Kanka. We like to do things incrementally. We don't like to force people to make changes. It took us like I want to say 8 months before we sort of forced people to use the new text editor. So if I know Jay, there will be an option to opt in or out of the new interface. Though obviously I'm just speaking out of my bottom right now. I don't know what Jay actually has in mind. I'm just
Yeah.
assuming based on past new implementations. But Jay, perhaps you have thoughts on this.
Yeah, because it's only UX and not, well, a lot of user experience and not necessarily the design. A lot of the stuff will still look like the standard Kanka. We'll still use the standard Kanka classes, the panels, the boxes. So it won't break too much. And I'm sure we can give you guys access to the QA server um, to test out your themes before it goes live to everyone. Especially since it won't be one day, suddenly everything is changed. It'll be incremental changes. So it should allow theme creators to not have suddenly a few hours to rush and spend a couple of days redesigning everything.
Yeah, but you do make a good point, Salvatos. We'll definitely make a note to give plenty of time for our content creators to adapt and to I'm going to write it down right now. Content creators to adapt and just to know what's going on. Maybe give them a bit more heads up when it comes to the changes that are coming and timelines when we actually have timelines. Because right now, as I say, there's nothing that you should expect anytime soon. Like it's very much just a thought process right now.
Yeah.
So yeah. Are there any other questions concerning this? Oh, I see Jacob is typing.
Is my face still frozen?
Your face is still frozen. I don't know if you've seen in the general, but basically there's a screenshot, and we will try and make a Kanka emoji out of it. I think that would be quite appropriate.
Worth as much. Does my face know?
No, did you see it now?
I saw it. It's terrifying.
It's great. So yeah, are there any other questions? Any final thoughts or anything before we leave you guys? Sorry, I'm just writing. Oh, beef potato. I feel like this will probably be the last input we have.
Yeah. Nope.
Nope. Okay. Well, in that case, this has been an absolute pleasure. I'm sorry we couldn't do one last month, but we will go back to doing this every month. Oh, wait. There's still one thing. We almost forgot.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Very quickly, so as to not take too much time, we have decided to start a new event. So it will be published. I think currently it's scheduled to be published tonight at midnight. So we will maybe stick to that, or maybe we'll bring that forward to just after the stream. But basically a new event, and it is around races in the sense of racing. So
as in contest.
Yes, races, the contest. So yeah, basically it'll be a new event. There'll be 2 weeks. It'll last until the end of the month. We're going to try and do these more regularly. I'm sure we've mentioned this a bunch of times already, but the idea is going to be to do 2 events a month if we can, and if there's community interest in those events. But we're going to start with this first one starting tonight/tomorrow morning and going on until the end of the month. And the prizes will be the usual, plus some extras. So we have the usual participation in the jury for next time round. There's also a new Discord role that we've created specifically for winners of these contests, and you will be given that role on Discord. And we thought we'd make use of the featured campaign page, and if you win, then your campaign will be featured, if you want it to be, for a couple months. That's what we have in mind right now. So yeah. We look forward to reading your entries. And I think a Lion King is going to be part of the jury, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. She is, yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, I don't know about any reenacting this time either, but
with amazing Spanish.
Yeah, that would have been fun. So yeah, I hope you all participate. I hope we see lots of entries, and look out for it to be published. As I say, either we'll bring it forward. Currently, it's scheduled to be published at midnight tonight, European Standard Time. So, yeah. Anything else to add, Jay?
No, just if you're not already, come join us on the Discord.
Yeah.
We have an amazing community of crazy fun people.
Discord is where the magic happens. I know I do try and be more present on Reddit, and I try and check Reddit at least once a day, and same when it comes to Twitter, same when it comes to Facebook or whatever. But Discord still is our primary mode of interaction. It's because the other ones, it's always either Jay or me, mostly me, apart from Reddit. Jay's there sometimes, and if I'm not in front of the computer, then that's it. Discord, there's me, there's Jay, there's literally everyone else in the community. So Discord, Discord, Discord. Yes, beef potato. Well, in that case, if you're that much in a rush, we can bring it forwards by a couple hours. So you can expect to see it in the next 20 minutes or so. Cool.
Cool.
Well, in that case,
thanks so much for joining.
Yeah, thank you very much for tuning in.
Take care, and we'll see you very soon.
We'll see everyone soon, and thank you for looking at Jay's future GIF face. Well, future emoji face. Right. I wish everyone a good evening, and we will catch you soon. Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.